I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. My guests tonight are Aidan O'Kelly Lynch and Brian Kelly. We're going to be talking all Irish today, and we're going to be talking about the Irish Festival. That's going to be the 21st of September. It's going to be at the Riverfront Green in Peekskill, and we're going to be talking about the ancient order of the Hibernians. And my whole idea of the show is community. This is all about community. People need to get involved. People need to join a club. People need to go to church. People need to get involved with other people. We are social beings. We need people. We need families. We need people to, tell stories, to tell history. I think history is the most important thing. It gives you a sense of belonging. It gives you a sense of, heritage, of pride. And I think the Irish people encompass that greatly. They love their history. They love Ireland. They love to tell their kids about, their history, their family. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And first, I'd like to thank Brian for coming on. Thank you so much, Brian. And speaking of history, I just want to get a sense of where you're from, where you grew up, how you wound up in Buchanan.
Okay.
So.
Born in the Bronx, raised in Queens, Flushing. Lived there for most of my early years. Met a girl from Buchanan.
Okay.
And when we got married, chose to live in this area. We lived in Peekskill first, and then we moved to Buchanan when we found a house there.
Excellent. You have two beautiful daughters now?
Yes.
And
15 and 12.
And you attend St. Christopher's Church?
We alternate. We're in Assumption Church now
okay.
with the program they have.
Excellent.
My youngest daughter is going for her confirmation.
Super. And I'm actually good friends with Aidan. I had a couple of his kids for CCD, and we have a little history here. So give us your history.
Thank you, Victor. My name is Aidan O'Kelly Lynch. I was born in Ireland, born in Cork, the southern capital of Munster. Grew up there, spent about 33 years there, and then immigrated to the US in 1986. And I don't know how, but I ended up in Buchanan. And we've been there since 1986. It's been a great village. I've raised all my three sons there. Two of them you taught at CCD in St. Patrick's Verplank, and you did a great job. I must thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's been a great community to live in, to work in. And since I came here, I became an active member of the Ancient Order of Hibernians. And now we're running an Irish festival, and this is our 5th year doing it.
And you started something before. I know Dan Dennehy, who was supposed to be here today but couldn't make it. Hi, Dan. Sorry you didn't make it. But he's kind of the backbone of this.
Yes. Dan basically was responsible for the very first festival, the Starter Festival. That was 5 years ago, and ran the first 3 festivals right down here at the Riverfront Green in Peekskill, and did a tremendous job. Now we're into our 5th year. I've been the chairman of the festival last year and this year. And each year the festival is getting a little bit stronger. The word is getting out that yes, in Peekskill at the Riverfront Green, which is a fantastic venue, we run a great festival.
It's beautiful down there. And it's the 21st of September. We'll just keep saying that. Mm-hmm. So, and you got to get down there. Is there a admission fee to get in? Or?
Basically for adults, it's a minimal fee of $10, and children under 12 are free.
Okay.
And basically, we have a great selection of bands. We've got a main stage entertainment area. We also will be setting up a large tent for Irish traditional musicians, for Shanachis, which is the Gaelic for storytellers, step dancers. So we do have to ask people to make a donation of $10 when they come in to try and fund all of these great musical events that we're putting on. We're a not-for-profit organization, so that's basically it.
Now, what do you guys sponsor? Anything? Any scholarships or?
Well, over the last couple of years, we did sponsor a scholarship at the Assumption Catholic School here in Peekskill with Father Higgins.
Yep.
And we've worked with Father Higgins. He's our chaplain, and he's been a great chaplain for us. So we've done things with the Assumption School. Unfortunately, the school closed last June, which we're disappointed about. But hopefully things will change.
Yeah. Now, Brian, when you moved into the area, how did you find the Hibernians?
Basically, I got to be about a certain point in my life where I was looking around for friends locally,
Yeah.
and I explored through the St. Christopher's Church. I was able to hear a talk about the Knights of Columbus, which I ended up becoming a member of. I'm a third-degree member of the Knights of Columbus. And during my interview, the vetting process, I met with the gentleman from the Knights of Columbus, and I left that interview and I went to the next floor of the Knights of Columbus Hall in Peekskill. And meeting in the same building was the Ancient Order of Hibernians. I noticed the flags at the front of the room, and I stuck my head in, and I talked to a few gentlemen who I've become friends with and remained friends with since.
Yeah.
And they talked about everything I wanted to get involved with. Strengthening my faith in the Catholic Church, working from my heritage. Both my parents were born in Ireland, so I'd be the first generation in this country. And so since then, I've taken my wife and children back to Ireland now several occasions, and we just got back recently as well. And I got involved with the idea of what the Hibernians was about, basically standing up for your faith, protecting and watching out for your clergy, your church itself, trying to be involved as a member of that church. And then through my involvement in the organization, I was able to take over some positions within the division, which is the local center. Then eventually, through investigation, I ended up serving as the Westchester County President, and now just finished as the New York State Director for the AOH. So during that period, I was the liaison between the state president and the counties of Westchester, Bronx, and Manhattan, New York County. And like I said, I just finished the 2-year run with that.
Yeah.
And now I'm returning to focus my attention on the division, recruiting new members, and possibly working with Aiden as our county president to investigate opportunities for new divisions in the county as well. We currently have 4 divisions, Yonkers, Tarrytown, Peekskill, and Mount Kisco. And we think there's opportunities for us to expand in the county.
Now, how do people get involved? What do they do? Can they go on a website? Can they find?
There is a website. You have AOH.com would be the national website, and that would be list all the details of membership there. Primarily, you want to be over 17, a practicing Catholic, and of Irish descent, or born in Ireland. And those are really the 3 criteria. You know, we would vet any candidate the way any other organization would, and then we would introduce them at the meeting, and then they would be sworn in.
Excellent.
The Ancient Order of Hibernians in Peekskill meets the first Wednesday of every month, so that's pretty much our standard. And it's at the Red Schoolhouse on 6th Street in Verplank as well.
Why don't you tell us a little history about the
Yeah,
Hibernians?
basically the Ancient Order of Hibernians was founded way back in 1836, and it was founded during a period when Irish Catholics were starting to immigrate into the US in large numbers. Now at the time, Catholicism was not very popular here, and a lot of the Catholic schools at the time and churches were under attack in various points. And the Ancient Order of Hibernians was an organization that grew up to try and defend and protect the new immigrants and the Catholic churches at the time. It was founded here in New York City, and it was also founded in Pennsylvania. And when the 2 groups got together, I think in 1836, they formalized their union and created the Ancient Order of Hibernians. So we've got a long history. We're primarily, as Brian has described, Irish-American Catholic organization. We speak out on Irish-American issues, on Catholic issues, and we're a meeting point for both Irish men and Irish women. And we hold basically the men's meeting here in Peekskill on the first Wednesday of every month at the Red Schoolhouse in Verplank at 8 p.m. New members are welcome to come.
Yes.
And we also have a ladies group. They meet on the second Wednesday of the month, and again at the same Red Schoolhouse in Verplank. That's our headquarters, and we're looking for new members. And we also have this festival that we run every year, and it's getting to be a better festival every year.
Yeah. Now, what are the procedures that you have to go through to get the riverfront?
Well, basically, we've had a lot of cooperation from the city of Peekskill. We get our permits from the city of Peekskill, and they provide the policing and the sanitation services necessary to make this festival a great success. And it has been a great success. We've done it now for 5 years. Sorry, this is our fifth year.
This will be the 5th year.
This will be the 5th year, and it's gone off great every year. And I must say, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the city of Peekskill for their cooperation, because unfortunately, in some of the other towns throughout Westchester County, organizations like ours do not get this level of cooperation. And for a volunteer organization, a not-for-profit organization, without this type of cooperation, we cannot do festivals like this.
Yeah.
If we get charged excessive fees, we just cannot finance it. It's just not there.
Yeah.
We're relying on a donation at the gate, and primarily those funds get used to pay for the musicians and the other ancillary costs that are required to run a festival. So it's essential that we have this good relationship with the city of Peekskill, and it continues.
Definitely. Now, you said you're just in Ireland.
Yes.
How was the flight?
Everything went great.
Yeah.
It was a 2-week trip, and I had 2 gatherings that popped up during a pre-planned trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to meet with my mother's family
Nice.
at one location in Clare, and
Yeah.
then my father's family at another location in Galway during the time period I was already there. So it worked out very well that the planning
Yeah.
suited me.
And how was the weather?
Weather was really, really good weather
Yeah.
for us. Dry and mostly sunny, which is unusual. I had a niece with me who was on her first trip to Ireland, and she claimed it was her first experience that gave us the good weather. But I said
Yeah,
that's
right.
usually what happens is that's how they get you, they reel you in,
Yeah.
and you're chasing that the rest of your life.
Yeah,
that good
yeah.
weather. But we did enjoy lots of great sights, and it really did complement the trip that the weather was good.
What's your favorite part about Ireland?
Well, I got to say it's the people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for me personally, it's the getting together with the family. But I mean, for my children and my niece and my wife, who know these people, it's just the other interactions we have along the way. We had a driver for the first few days, and he was really just part of the flavor of the trip. And between his knowledge and the way he spoke and how he really embraced us in taking us places and getting us in places, and really, you know, watching out for us, it actually added to the trip, and it really was a big portion of it.
Oh,
You
sure.
know, so then I was on the driving for the rest of the trip, and I found that not a challenge. It was very, very good for us.
Yeah. Now, what would you say to somebody that wants to go to Ireland? How would you direct them? Where would you like them
You know,
to
there's
go?
a lot of resources out there. Tourism Ireland is probably a great way to start. The internet, I know Facebook's put up a couple of suggestions now with tip sites that give you detailed information about what to see, when to see it. It's I kind of take my experience from going to Disney World that you have to know to plan which park at what time and which location and so forth, and it really works when you approach Ireland that way as well. You know, we have a couple of big sites in Dublin that was basically is competition to get in there, and you're competing with, you know, because it was a very popular year this year as the gathering in Ireland. You had cruise ships, you had people who were visiting from America, and then you had other people that were just basically in town for the sporting events that were going on, and they were all like, while I'm here, I might as well do this.
Right.
And so the top 3 sites were very busy. You know, the Guinness Storehouse was one, which is actually a fantastic site. And then the Book of Kells is at Trinity College. That was another one that was a bit of a challenge. You know, other than that, the queues weren't too bad in the lineups.
Yeah.
And again, timing. You know, knowing what you can get done when. You know, so it did work out for us. We got to see everything we wanted to see.
Yeah. And you were just there too, Aiden.
Yeah, I spent about 3 weeks there. I spent a week and a half on the Dingle Peninsula, which is a beautiful part of Ireland in West Kerry. And then I spent the second part of my vacation down in West Cork in a small place called Ardfield. And this year the weather was magical in the southwest. We had a great time all together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's never an idle moment. And whether you play golf, walk, trek, swim, whatever it is you can do it. If you like the outdoors,
Yeah, that's
Ireland's a
the
great
to
place to go.
Yeah,
It's a great place to go. You get away from the heat and humidity here. Like I left New York, I think it was 95 degrees. I got off at Shannon, it was 65. I almost kissed the ground. It was beautiful,
Right.
you know. And I headed straight from Shannon right to West Kerry, and I had a great time there, you know.
Now, what did your parents do?
I grew up in Cork City. My father worked in the textile industry in Ireland at the time. My mother raised 5 children, so she was very busy. And I'm a civil engineer. I went to University College Cork in Ireland, graduated in 1976 and emigrated to the US in 86. And I've been here ever since.
Yeah. And how did you find this area? Just
I was working in Tarrytown, so I was looking for a Westchester base. And I saw a nice house in Buchanan, and that's where I am.
Yeah,
right?
you can't beat Buchanan.
Can't beat it.
Oh, it's
you
beautiful.
It's a beautiful area.
It is.
And then later, at St. Patrick's in Verplank, I hooked up with another great fellow Irishman, Joe Price, who actually recruited me and got me into the AOH. And that's about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When I joined about the same time as Brian did.
Yeah.
And for the last 5 years, we've done this festival, and we've expanded our membership. And part of the things that I like about the AOH is it generates a great sense of community between the Irish and Irish American people here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too that people like about Ireland. There's a greater sense of community. I think in New York, everybody's rushing to work and rushing home, and we lose that interconnectivity
Yes.
with each other. And that's where organizations like the AOH help recreate that. So I would recommend it to anybody. You know?
You know, family is so important. It just seems, like you said, people are rushing, and they lose sight of the importance of family.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were talking about, you know, everybody wishes for world peace. Now, what is peace? Peace comes from knowledge, you know.
Right.
And the better educated we are, the more at ease we are, because we know. It's not knowing that makes people frustrated.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
And how important do you feel keeping your 2 kids educated, you know, bringing them along?
Well, I mean, that was one of the decisions that came into play with where we chose to live. We're very proud of Hendrick Hudson School
Yeah.
District. My wife came through the school district, as did her brothers and sister. And I was very comfortable with having my kids educated there, and it basically, it's one nice small community.
It
We
is.
have
It's-
schools right nearby. They started at Buchanan Verplank. Then now one child's in the middle school, the other child's in the high school, and we just had a nephew who graduated from there. So I think continuing along, I have great connections with her family in the area, and so that my kids have connections with their grandparents and their cousins. And now they're getting a good education and great opportunities at
Yeah,
Hendrick Hudson as
it
well.
really
So
is.
I mean, very comfortable with having them educated there.
Definitely. Now let's get back to the festival.
Right.
We have an emblem or a logo that stands for the Hudson Valley Irish Fest. Who came up with the logo?
Tim Murphy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it was Tim
Yeah.
Murphy came up with
Yeah.
it.
And he's
He's a local musician, and I don't know what his other profession is, but
yeah.
Well-
that's how I know him. He's very talented in many ways. And when we were talking about starting the festival, this idea came to him, and I would say he donated it to us. And it really defines pretty much what the festival's about. It's got your Celtic connection
Yep.
and your overview of the Hudson Valley. And we've had some different visions of that, you know, including that scene down there when you look out from the riverfront,
Yeah.
the mountains in the background, and the river. But this one, it has a very distinctive look to it, and it draws your attention, and we use that to signify our festival committee. And then we're just letting everything else roll out from there. We have musicians, food, vendors. As Aidan talked
Right.
about, we get a Goodwill donation at the gate from adults, and we hope everybody who would come would be of the mind that we're trying to put on this festival for,
Yeah.
like you say, education as well as community and entertainment. And we have a fantastic kids area. The whole riverfront really is very kid friendly,
It is.
and we encourage families to come and enjoy themselves for the day. It's on from 11 in the morning till 7 at night, which basically is till dusk. And again, the sunset you see down there, and if the weather's with us,
yeah,
it's
it is
another part of
beautiful.
the aspect of the festival. And I think between the musicians performing and people you hear singing in the crowd and the food that's put out and the entertainment for the children, I think it's a great, well-rounded festival that everybody's able to enjoy, and that's what keeps people coming back.
Definitely. What are some of the bands that'll be playing?
Well, one other thing I just want to mention quick before I go into the bands.
Yeah, okay.
Last year we introduced one additional thing. In addition to the main stage, we set up a traditional tent for traditional Irish musicians. And we dedicated the tent in memory of a local musician, Jack McAndrew.
Okay.
So this tent is called the Jack McAndrew Memorial Tent.
Good.
And this year we got a tremendous lineup in that. It's been run by Michelle Carter and Stephen Gara. Stephen Gara is a tremendous piper, plays the uilleann pipes, actually comes from London in England. His family originally hails from Donegal, but he will be running it, and Michelle, and they've got a tremendous lineup of musicians in that. So if you come to the festival, definitely go see the Jack McAndrew traditional music tent.
Okay.
We're going to have musicians there starting at 12 o'clock. It'll be, I think it's...
It's 11, actually.
No, it's 12 in the
Oh,
tent.
in the tent,
12 in
right.
the tent. And we got Stephen Gara and friends. And then we have some dancers, step dancers from the Kelly Oster group. And we also have a Shanachie. Now, in case you don't know what a Shanachie is the Gaelic word for storyteller.
Okay.
Because in Ireland years ago, we didn't have television or radio. So the tradition was that a Shanachie would go around to people's houses in the evening and tell stories. Lots of good stories.
Sure.
So we have two sets of Shanachie. They're being brought over here. They're both Irish Shanachies by Mary Courtney, who will also be playing in the traditional tent from 2 to 4. And Mary is a tremendous traditional musician from West Kerry, and that is well worth coming to. So if you want to see some real traditional music and Shanachies, come to the Jack McAndrews tent. Now on the main stage we got a tremendous selection of bands. We've got the McLean Avenue Band.
Yep.
We've got a band coming out from Ireland called the Druids, who are like the #1 rebel Irish band right now, and they play a tremendous repertoire of
Oh,
music.
that's great.
We've got Jemison's Revenge, and who else we got?
The Ruffians
The
will be
Ruffians,
playing.
yes, we got the Ruffians as well. So we got 4 major bands, and interspersed between the major bands, we got 3 pipe bands that'll be playing for us. The local 21 pipers from this locality will be playing on the first intermission. Then we've got the Police Emeralds Westchester Society will be coming in, and then we've got the pipe band from West Point will be coming over. They're actually playing in West Point earlier in the day, and they're making a special appearance at the festival. Wow. And then on the 4th intermission period, Tim Murphy will be leading a mass pipe band down the middle of the field, playing the Firefighters' Creed.
Right.
You know,
That's our opportunity to remember the victims of 9/11 and the contributions of all of our emergency service people. With a tradition we've started
That's great.
at the beginning of the festival, and we try to carry that on. And Tim sings the Firefighter Creed, and that is actually the official song of the New York State Fallen Firefighter Memorial. And he does a tremendous job with that.
So basically from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we're going to have continuous Irish music and pipe band music, either on the main stage of the field, and in conjunction then in the Jack Memorial tent, we've got another slate of musicians. In addition to that, we're also putting into the tent this year a series of historical exhibits, and they have been donated to us by the AOH up in Saratoga in upstate New York. And we also have some art exhibits that are coming out from Dublin, and they'll be on display here as well in that tent.
Excellent.
So we're going to have a lot of stuff.
Good.
You
Now,
know?
do you think there's enough parking? Should people try and maybe use, not there's a lot of
the
mass
parking is actually
transit.
excellent because it's a weekend, and you're able to utilize the Metro North parking.
Oh, okay.
All right, because there's no
well,
charge on
that's
Saturday
good.
and Sunday in the Metro North parking lot. But if anyone's from beyond this area, certainly Metro North is basically within about 300 feet
Yeah.
of the riverfront green, so it makes
It's a perfect
great
spot.
stop.
Right.
We get loads of people who come up from the Bronx and Manhattan specifically for that, that they're able to use Metro North to get off and then safely home again. So certainly public transportation, walk.
Yeah.
We hope to have maybe some local support with a shuttle. We're trying to find out if that'll work.
Okay.
But there's usually generous parking, and then the Metro North station is right there.
And it's September 21st. Mark it
September
down
21st.
on your calendar. Everybody try to get down there. It sounds like so much fun. I might have to take off from work.
I would definitely recommend you take off from work.
All right.
And
I'll call my brother Tony. Tell him.
you go.
he's
tell the
gotta
whole
take it.
family, bring them all down.
All right.
It's a great location. It's a beautiful scenic spot right on the River Hudson. The backdrop is
Oh,
fantastic.
I know. It's
And we've
awesome.
been lucky. We've done it 4 years now. We've had great weather every
Yeah.
time. So fingers crossed that
Yep.
it works again this year. you know.
Now, what's the big seller food-wise?
Actually, the ladies AOH will be running the food court this year, and they will be providing corned beef sandwiches, okay, hot dogs and rolls, and then we'll all have some other food vendors providing some other varieties of food.
Okay.
But last year, the corned beef sandwiches
Yeah, that was the
sold
seller.
out. I think they went through about 700-800 pounds of corned beef. It was unbelievable.
Big
you know?
seller.
Wow.
It was a real big seller.
Oh, that's
you know?
awesome. Excellent.
So, and they do a tremendous job, the ladies. do,
Yeah.
you know.
How can the women get involved? What's
The Erin Belladino is the president of the local ladies division. They have their meetings every second Wednesday of the month
okay?
at the Red Schoolhouse on 6th Street in Verplank.
Yep.
So I would just suggest they come over to the meeting, ask for Erin, and we'll
Get in there.
Get in
Yeah,
there. You
for
know, it's a
sure.
new group. It's actually the newest division in New York State. It was founded about 2 years ago.
Wow.
They've got about 50
Baby.
members already,
Excellent.
and they're doing very well. You know.
All right. So we have 1 minute. We're going to wrap it up. I can't say it enough. Try to get involved in the community. There's Italian clubs. There's Irish clubs. There's enough clubs out there. Go online. Find out how to volunteer. Join the fire department. Go to church. Get involved. Don't complain. You know, it's so important. You know, people too many times say, well, somebody else will do it. You know, you got to be in a
Yep.
position where you say, if I don't do it, nobody else will. And that's where you step up and you do things, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so important. You got to have the attitude. If I don't do it, nobody else will. And I know you guys have that attitude. And I could tell, you know, being involved, you know, becoming chairman, becoming president. You know, those are things you got to do. So thank you so much for watching. This is the Community Show. I'm your host, Victor Margiotta. Go down and see the Irish Festival. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor.
All right.
Thank you very much.
That was terrific.
Okay.
Did a good job.
Well done.
Kept it rolling.
you.
Everything was
All right.
perfect. Excellent.
Very good. No problem.
Oh,